What is up, everybody? Today we are talking all about intensity. Now, when we refer to intensity in terms of programming, what we are actually talking about is the weight on the bar. We are not talking about high intensity workouts, your typical HIIT session, how hard you are working. That would refer to the RPE. The rate of perceived exertion scale does not necessarily match up with intensity. So for the rest of this video, when I say intensity, what I'm talking about is weight, how much load you are lifting. Intensity is going to dictate the type of adaptation that takes place from your training session. So whatever training effect you get from that session will be dictated by the intensity of that session. The higher the intensity, typically, the more we tap into our type 2 muscle fibers and our more explosive energy systems. Whereas lower intensities tend to fit much more aerobic kind of stuff with type 1 muscle fibers. Let's say you're a runner or an endurance athlete. Just burp through that. If you're a runner, working in the mid-range of intensity is probably going to be the most beneficial, and you might occasionally dabble into the higher intensity stuff, so the heavier stuff. If you're a powerlifter, you're probably going to spend most of your time in the higher intensity stuff and occasionally dabble into a slightly lower range. When it comes to programming intensities, we have to take into account volume, which we talked about on the last video. Take intensity and mix it with volume. We have to adjust what we're doing. As a general rule, as intensity goes up, volume must come down. We do this because it's physically impossible to stay on crazy high intensities all the time. That's when we're looking at essentially the essence of periodization. They're the two variables that are going to play the biggest role in your progression. The third variable that we'll be talking about will be frequency, which will come out at some point over the next couple of days. Until then, peace and love. Such a fucking dick.